The news day continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Diego Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. Remittances grew at its slowest pace in 7 months in February. According to data from the Bangko Sentral, cash remittances coursed through banks reached $2.57 billion in February. That's a 2.4% growth from the same month a year ago. The latest growth in remittances is slower than the 3.5% expansion logged in January and the weakest annual growth since 2.3% in July last year. Aside from that, February also saw the lowest level of cash remittances in 9 months since the $2.43 billion posted in May 2022. China Bank chief economist Domini Velasquez told Business World that cash remittance growth may have slowed as OFW sent more money home during the Christmas season. Meanwhile, RCBC chief economist Mike Ricafort overseas Filipinos will continue to send more money to their families to help them cope with rising prices. The Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI, expects more investments from the Czech Republic. During the Czech Industry Forum in Makati City on Monday, PCCI President George Barcelon said the two countries can explore various sectors for investment. These include agriculture, manufacturing, and transportation. In 2021, bilateral trade between the Philippines and the Czech Republic reached about $700 million. Barcelon said majority of these exports consist of electrical equipment, while the country's top imports from the Czech Republic are from the arms and defense sector. PCCI and the Czech Chamber of Commerce signed a deal to strengthen trade between the two countries. President Bongbong Marcos touts the Philippines' strategic location as the country hopes to find new grounds for cooperation with the Czech Republic. The president highlighted the importance of collaborating with Czech Republic following their bilateral meeting on Monday. According to the president, he and Czech Prime Minister Peter Fiala discussed issues on defense, trade, and investment, as well as judicial and labor cooperation. President Marcos also said they touched upon geopolitical issues, such as conflicts that may affect the two countries.
We recognize the importance of building on the existing areas of cooperation and exploring new opportunities for collaboration. I also emphasize the Philippines' strategic location in Southeast Asia and its potential as a gateway to the region, to ASEAN. We had a very interesting exchange of views regarding regional and international issues, including the West Philippine Sea and cross-strait relations and the war in Ukraine, amongst others. We both emphasize our country's shared commitment to democracy, to human rights, and the rule of law.
Prime Minister Fiala also shares that the Philippines is the first stop in his 10-day trip in Asia. The Czech leader says he brought with him a delegation of businessmen in hopes of finding more ways to cooperate with the Philippines. The Prime Minister also said they are looking to find ways to give more Filipinos opportunities to work in the Czech Republic.
Our companies offer solutions in many fields, many areas: agriculture, aviation, transportation, or space technologies. Defense and security cooperation is very important. We also highly appreciate the Philippine system of the recruiting workers for work in other countries. Czech companies are very satisfied with Philippine citizens. We are discussing the possibilities to expand migration for work.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. still watching One News Now. I'm Jago Castro. The merger of Land Bank and Development Bank of the Philippines does not require legislative intervention. That's according to the Governance Commission for GOCCs or GCG. GCG Chairman Alex Quiroz said they conducted a study on provisions of statutes and applicable jurisprudence. Quiroz said they found that the banks can be combined even though they both received their charters from Congress. The DBP and Finance Department earlier raised legal concerns on the merger, noting the need for legislation. The study also concluded that the GCG has adequate authority to merge government-owned and controlled corporations. Heads up, motorists! Oil companies are implementing mixed adjustments on oil fuel prices this week. Starting today, April 18, diesel prices will be cut by 40 centavos per liter. On the other hand, gasoline and kerosene are seeing price increases of 30 centavos per liter and 10 centavos per liter, respectively. This is the third week of price hikes for both gasoline and kerosene. Maynilad is looking to suspend water interruptions for 1.1 million households this week. This as the National Water Resources Board approved to increase the allocation from the Angat Dam by 2 cubic meters per second to 52 CMS effective April 16. The board approved the higher allocation to prevent further service interruptions from Maynilad. However, Maynilad says it still has to make sure that the allocation is enough before suspending the interruptions altogether.
You have to make sure that the 52 is happening. It was only released yesterday. Okay. Secondly, we have to monitor the aqueduct. You remember that there was this aqueduct losses also that we're monitoring, and before it reaches the La Mesa portal. So we have also to make sure that the 46 CMS at the portal is achieved. Kasi mahirap kung pangunahan at mag-overcommit and then madadapa kami, di ba?
Despite the higher allocation, Maynilad says some 70,000 households south of the metro may still experience up to 10 hours of service interruptions. The water concessionaire attributed this to limited pipe capacity and challenges at its Putatan water treatment plant.
Po yung tubo na yon ay hindi enough yung water supply, yung kanyang pipe capacity para po ma-push yung tubig. Kung mayroon man kaming sobrang tubig mula sa north, hindi po siya pwedeng ma-push fully dun sa kakulangan ng south. So talaga pong separate system siya. Meron pa pong mga areas po kami sa south na currently nakaka-experience pa rin po ng less than 10 hours of water interruption because po dun sa challenges or existing challenges na nangyayari dun sa aming Putatan plants. Okay, ito pong challenges na to, nung mga nakaraang buwan po kasi tumaas po yung turbidity ng raw water namin mula sa Laguna Lake and naka-apekto po doon sa capability ng pag-treat ng water ng aming Putatan treatment plants.
Key PLDT executives, including its CFO, have taken an early exit in the aftermath of the company's overspending mess. The telco disclosed to the stock exchange that its chief financial officer and senior vice president Annabel Chua filed for early retirement, which took effect Sunday. Chua had been on leave since last December when news broke on PLDT's budget overrun. SVP and network head Mario Tamayo likewise opted for early retirement effective last Friday. Meanwhile, the company's chief procurement officer and SVP Mary Rose de la Paz opted for voluntary resignation. PLDT said its internal probe found no evidence of fraud in its budget overrun from 2019 to 2022. The company also doesn't see the overspending issue having an impact on its bottom line this year. Streaming giant Netflix has apologized after the live reunion of mega-hit dating show Love is Blind failed to launch. The full story courtesy of Bloomberg.
This was just a bit of a failure for Netflix's iteration into these live-streamed events.
Yeah, huge disaster for Netflix. I mean, they, made a big deal about we're going to do more live events. This is part of their big push into advertising. You need more live programming. They're kind of dipping their toes in. They did the Chris Rock special last month. This was their second big live stream event. And for it to fail, not only signals to viewers like, it's disappointing right now, but also all the media watchers, everyone that's thinking about buying advertising, sports leagues, do you trust Netflix to live stream games in the future? This is not a great start.
We'll get a full opportunity, Caro, for a post-mortem because Netflix has earnings in 24 hours' time or so. One of the worst performers on the S&P 500. Felix, what have Netflix had to say? I think they issued an apology, didn't they?
They apologized, they said, stick around, we're going to tape the show. There was a live audience. So they said, okay, we'll do the reunion, we'll tape it, and then we'll put it up tomorrow. So at some point today, presumably fans are going to get to watch this. I think it's less of a problem with the fans and just a broader problem for Netflix when they've made such a big deal about, okay, we're doing this big advertising initiative and we're really going to start ramping up our live programming. This is just not what you want to see getting out of the gate.
And those are the top business stories of the hour. Join us. I'm Jago Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News. All sides, all the time.